jamming for the king. Hope you're ready for the show. Thanks for tuning in. Let's go for a ride. Got my specs on my side. She's my forever bride that keeps up alive. I'ma rev it up, so hold on tight. We bout to level up. Catch us on the turnpike from city to city, state to state, coast to coast. Man, make no mistake, we are conquerors. Yeah, yeah. More than conquerors. We are conquerors. Yeah. More than conquerors.
You already know what it is. It's your homegirl, Lottie, Dottie. I'm in the building hanging out with Retro, and he ain't never lied.
Say, man, you know what it is, man. Special guest in the building. Much love and respect to my man Retro stopping through, y'all. Y'all know what to do.
Big Cell. You still keeping it 100.
Everybody including Lottie, Dottie, it's your boy Retro. Hashtag press play, it's the Retro Philosophy Show. Let's go. King on my line. Everybody say
Gotta find the Retro Philosophy Show. Let's get ready to go live. Can't miss an episode.
You already know what it is. It's your homegirl, Lottie, Dottie. I'm in the building hanging out with Retro, and he ain't never lied.
Gotta find the Retro.
Retro, what's up, man? It's your guy Lavish coming in from the Motor City, Detroit, man. Keep doing your thing, man. Keep up the good work. I'm watching the channel. I'm watching it grow. Everybody out there, man, if you listening, man, show this brother some love. Go ahead and share this video. Go ahead and like, follow, and subscribe to his channel.
What's going on, bro?
What's the channel?
Retro Philosophy Show, man.
Make sure y'all go check my boy out, man. Like, comment, and watch the video to the end. Don't skip no ads or nothing. Watch that whole thing through, man. Come check us out. And make sure you come follow me on Glide with Hayes, W-I-T, Glide with Hayes. And come follow me, man. Come check it out.
Retro song. Ladies and gentlemen, saints and ain'ts. Everybody including Lottie, Dottie, it's your boy Retro. Hashtag press play, it's the Retro Philosophy Show. Let's go.
Yo, what's up, everybody, including Lottie Dottie? You already know what it is. It's your boy Retro with you on today. This is the day that the Lord has made, and you know what? I don't know about everybody, but as far as I'm concerned, yeah, I'm going to rejoice and be glad in it. God's been better to me than I've been to myself. He's been better to me than anybody in the whole world could have ever been to me, you know, and I wonder if you feel the same. Good morning to everybody, one and all. This is the day truly that he has made, and I will rejoice. You've already heard me say it before. I'll say it again because I don't mind being, you know, redundant, repetitive. I don't mind sounding like a broken record. I don't mind sounding like a CD stuck on repeat. If you don't have the ability to create a day, then you don't have the right to complain about a day. Listen to me now. I read something on a young lady's post this morning, and it says something along the lines of, right now, what does your heart feel? And I believe the first word that came to my mind was perplexed. Yeah, and what are you saying, Retro? What I'm saying is, irregardless of how you might feel, it doesn't have the right to dictate the way your day is going to go. You must take control of your day. I want to talk today about, telling your story, the story of a champion. And it is a continuation of a conversation that we had on yesterday as I was making my way down Highway 70. So if you caught me on yesterday, then we're going to continue, if you will, from that same perspective of sorts, if you will. Now, everyone has a story. And I believe that everyone's story, there comes a time where that story must be told. And what I was encouraging everyone on yesterday was, even if you're not ready to tell your story, because I get it, sometimes right now we're not ready to tell the story, write it down. Yeah, write it down. Write it down. It may end up being a bestseller one day. Let me continue. The first thing that came to my mind as it relates to my heart this morning was perplexity. I'm just feeling, perplexed, and but that doesn't mean that is the way that my day has to go. I think sometimes the way we feel, brothers and sisters, is an indicator as to where and how we must guard ourselves and guard our hearts, if that makes any sense whatsoever. If that makes sense to you, let me know if it makes sense to you. Y'all kind of quiet out there. DJ FX is in the building. Ladies and gentlemen, saints and ain'ts, everybody, including Lottie, Dottie. Let's make some noise for Jeff in the building, creating my day by the word of grace, by the word and grace of God. Now, brother, that is exactly how we ought to do it. Our words, literally, they are prophetic. And literally, we have the ability to call those things that be not as though they were. As a man thinketh, so is he, or so he shall become. So please understand, when you wake up in the morning, and today I felt perplexed, and I just got a phone call right before going live, and they say, "Hey, Retro, I said, man, I'm getting ready to go live. What's good?" Well, I talked. No, go ahead. Yeah, I got a minute. And they began to talk to me, and I said, "Oh gosh, now I understand the perplexity that I was feeling in my heart on this morning." And so again, ladies and gentlemen, saints and ain'ts, please hear me clearly. Sometimes the way you feel is not an indicator as to how your day has to go, but sometimes it is a warning in terms of how you need to guard yourself, how you need to protect yourself. And so here I am, I'm feeling perplexed. The Bible says, but not in despair. And so just because I feel this kind of way, I'm not left hopeless, because I understand that the word is true when it says, greater is he that is within me than he that's within the world. And so I'm feeling and it's lifting, because here's the deal. And I was sharing this with a young man recently. The Bible says, under the writing of the Apostle Paul, I believe it is, he said, "Think it not strange concerning the fiery trials that have come to try you, as though some strange thing has happened unto you." And so when these things begin to happen, the light bulb should go off. Okay, so that's why I was feeling perplexed, because see, some things you just can't understand and you can't figure out. And I'm going to go back to a conversation I had with my son, and I love it to see my children growing and maturing as they, come into the adulthood. And my daughter, she sent a beautiful text out the other day thanking us as parents for what we've done and so on and so forth. And just beautiful indeed. So I'm really grateful to God. Let's make some noise for my children. You don't have to, but I will, because I'm grateful. Are they perfect? Heck to the no. Shit too. Yeah. Them jokers ain't perfect. Neither one of them. But I love them dearly, and I'm so grateful to God for how they are maturing, even in the things of God. conversation me and my son were having the other day. He says, I'm finally getting to a place, Pop, where I understand life, even though I can't figure it out. And you got to realize, folks, that there are some things you will be perplexed about. You can't figure it out. But you got to understand that this too is a part of life. Every day is not going to be a perfect day. That's why I'm worried about y'all Christian folk that think every day you're going to be, I woke up this morning with my mind and it was stayed on Jesus. Sometimes I wake up out of a dream. Come on, somebody. Sometimes I wake up and some thoughts go through my mind, So every day is not a day that I wake up with my mind stayed on Jesus. Some days I got to work hard. And when I tell you I got to work hard, I'm telling you I got to work hard. Why? Because I'm human, because I'm a man, because I'm still in the flesh. And so I'm not your perfect Christian. Come on, somebody. And so sometimes I'm perplexed in my mind, but I'm not in despair. He said, he will not leave us comfortless. He will not leave us in a position where we have absolutely no hope, none whatsoever. I got a witness in the building. Brother Moose is in the building, ladies and gentlemen. Let's make some noise. Shout out to the Kingdom Knights up there in the Maryland area. God bless you, brother. Thank you for pressing play. Am I talking truth on this morning, Brother Moose? So my heart was feeling perplexed. I get a phone call and it brought a little bit more enlightenment to the perplexity that I was feeling. Now, here's another thing we've got to take into consideration. Sometimes the enemy will try to hit you with a blow that will knock you off focus, that will knock you off your game. Because if he can knock you off your game, then he can have free reign to those who you have been assigned to protect, those you have been assigned to lift up in prayer and cover in prayer. Y'all ain't saying nothing to me up in here today. I'm preaching better than you praising right about now. Life is a series of events of what has been already worked. Let me read that again. Yes, life is a series of events of what has been already worked out by God. Listen to me, bro. You are spot on. He's already done it. He knows my end from my beginning. And so nothing surprises God. And that's why I do the best I can to stay connected, because if I stay connected, listen to me. Abram, God spoke and said, I want you to leave from your country and from your kindred to a place that I will show you. He does it, so on and so forth. And finally, we get to a point where Abraham is walking in the promises of God and everything, and he realizes that there's some problems that are going on, and I'm pretty sure he was perplexed about what was going on, because here he is with his nephew Lot. But however, there's an issue that arises, and so Abraham has a conversation with Lot, and it's amazing. Y'all hear me real good on this one here. Y'all hear me real good. Abraham and Lot, they didn't have a problem. They were good. But Abraham's herdsmen and Lot's herdsmen couldn't get along. There was strife. He said there should be no strife between your people and my people. And so as a result, they had to separate. Lot went on down there towards Sodom and Gomorrah, and Abraham went toward the hills. We fast forward. Nothing but wickedness is going on where we see Lot go to. Okay. Ladies and gentlemen, we got the Nomadic Tank in the building. He's watching with us from YouTube. Make sure you guys go over there and check out his YouTube page and subscribe as well. And don't just subscribe, but hit play and hit comments, or I should say hit play, hit like, and then comment on the content. Okay. Good morning, sir. He says, I'm walking in the promises of God. Come on now. You better want to know it. Walking in the promises of God. And sometimes walking in the promises of God will take us into uncharted territories, unfamiliar territories. And we sometimes, get bogged down with things from time to time. But we'll get back to that. Abram and Lot, they separate. Lot goes down towards Sodom and Gomorrah. The point that I want to get to real quick is that God gets ready to send judgment upon Sodom, Gomorrah, and the cities round about. Be careful. This is not the point that I'm going to make, but this is a sidebar. Okay. And this one's free. I'm going to throw it in there. Okay. Now, listen to me. Be careful who you disconnect from because of your company. Now, again, remember, Abraham and Lot had no problem. But Lot allowed the fact that his herdmen didn't like Abraham's herdmen to cause him to separate from the man who caused his blessings to actually flow. Lot was blessed because of Abraham. Lot was blessed because of his connection with Abraham. Y'all be careful who you allow to make you dislike people. Abraham goes one way, Lot goes another way with his herdsmen, with his people. And so now here comes the Lord. Here comes God, right? You're most welcome, Brother Abraham. Absolutely. Absolutely, sir. Absolutely. We thank you for your support. Faithful supporter of the Retro Philosophy Show, as well as Mission 448. And shout out to Worldwide Riders as well. We'll get them back on the show here soon and chit chat with those guys. And so God gets ready to destroy Sodom and Gomorrah, right? But look at the connection that Abraham has with God. God says, oh, my bad. I can't destroy them yet. I haven't consulted with my friend Abraham. So before God would even destroy Sodom and Gomorrah, he wanted to let Abraham know, because he understood that Abraham had a nephew down there, you know. So it was he didn't have to, but it was a common courtesy. You know, that thing that many of y'all lack, you know, common courtesy. You know, hey, I'm in your town, I'm in your city, I'm in your neck of the woods, and you know, I'm just using that as an example. But common courtesy goes a long way. You don't have to do it, but it speaks volumes to your character. You know, I'm just saying, you know, some things you ought not do without at least letting folk know. You don't have to. You don't owe it to them. You owe it to yourself to extend the courtesy, because it's the right thing to do. Okay, all right. So God doesn't even destroy Sodom and Gomorrah until he lets Abraham know. And then, of course, Abraham, he bargains with God and you know, tried to, you know, beg God to spare the city. And he could have said, well, shoot, that, you know, they was beefing with my people. You do what you want, God. No, that's not what he did, because two wrongs don't make a right. I don't know who I'm preaching to, but I hope you're listening. Look at Abraham now. They separated because of strife. But because Abraham was a man of God, he led with compassion, grace, forgiveness. Come on, somebody. And he asked God, God, would you please allow me to go and seek out 50 righteous folk? And if I find those, will you spare the city? God said, okay, go ahead, Abraham. He knew he wasn't going to find them, because there was nothing but wickedness in the land. And it's sad that Abraham coming out from underneath, Lot coming from underneath Abraham, you would have thought he would have been able to. Lot, think about it, y'all. Lot alone should have had 5 righteous folk in his house alone. Abraham couldn't even find 5 righteous folks for the purpose of Sodom, Gomorrah, and the cities around about not being. Couldn't even find 5. Lot alone should have had 5. Him and his wife was already 2, so now all he needed was 3. At least his main man and you know, and 2 others. It goes to show you, you got to be careful of the company you keep, because when it really comes down to it, can you go into your phone right now? Every now and then you ought to call some of your folk. You ought to reach out to some of your folk and say, let me hold $100. You don't need it, but every now and then you ought to, hey, Abraham, hey, send me $50. I'll send it back to you in 3 days. You know, and you know what? I bet you if I were to call Abraham right now, if he had it, I bet you he would say, all right, Rachel, it's coming your way. You know, but there are some folks in your contact list that you swear by. Boy, they wouldn't give you $20 out of the $100 you gave them yesterday. You got to be careful, folk. You got to be real careful. Let me see if I can get back on track, because we're supposed to be talking about the story of a champion. But this here does coincide with the same discussion, because you have some people in life who seem to lose. Every time you turn around, they got their car repossessed. They got put out of their apartment. You know, they're sofa surfing and you know they're this, that, and the other. But guess what? They get up every day and keep pressing forward in spite of the fact that they no longer have that Volkswagen, in spite of the fact that they no longer have that little 2-bedroom apartment, in spite of the fact that all the odds are against them. They get up every single day and they keep going. And you wouldn't even really know how bad their story was if you didn't know. Because when you see them, they're the ones making you laugh. They're the ones giving you a word of encouragement. I had a particular day yesterday, you know, and so when by the time I left the house, true story, real talk, no cap. By the time I left the house yesterday, I was battling with the thoughts of a bad day. You have that thought going through your mind. Oh boy, it's one of the, you know, and so I'm not having my best day. I'm not. You didn't know it until I just told you right now. Okay, I don't know what y'all think about me. I really don't, man. But yo, the struggle is real. It's real, man. It's real. But anyway, so I finished my live, right? And I go into the restaurant to get me something to eat before I go to my assignment. I don't want to go to my assignment with my stomach growling, and you know. So I slip in this little restaurant, little fast food joint, and I'm getting ready to order, and obviously there's some chaos taking place back in the kitchen, and so on and so forth. And so the lady comes around with a real nasty attitude, and she snarls at me and two or three other patrons that were there waiting for service. And I said, well, goodness gracious. So my first thought is, okay, you don't want my money. You're going to talk to me this kind of way, you know, even though she didn't direct it to me personally. The mere fact that she wasn't professional enough to say her words with a little bit more grace. I understand you're frustrated, but you don't have to frustrate me because you're frustrated. So I'm saying, okay, just bounce, because, you know, you don't even need to, patronize this place. But then I realized, number one, she doesn't own the company, and she could care less, you know, and the owners don't know, and we'll probably never find out, which, again, is the reason why we need to begin to tell our stories more often. And I said this the other day about customer service is a thing of the past. Write the review. Go on, what is it, Google review or whatever, and leave a review. I'm look at here, man. You know, a lot of times we just walk out and just like, man, later for that, and don't go back and say, I'll never go back there again. But then the owner never really understands what's going on, so he never makes the necessary corrections, and it's just a vicious cycle. So anyway, let me get to the point, right? He said, nah, when you said that, I thought it was that was the day before that take. you see the pattern that's taking place in my life, bro. That was that was Monday when I had the heifer situation, and then Tuesday, you know, I had I'm not gonna call her a heifer, but I had another situation. Allow your brightness outshine their darkness. Okay, Jeff, thank you, sir. Getting me back on track. So here I am, Jeff, in this establishment, and she is, you know, she's snarling at not only me but the rest of the customers there, and you know, I see what's going on. You know, there's a little frustration going on that has nothing to do with me. She wasn't making it personal to me, but yet still I had to suffer the what do you call it? The backlash or whatever. So instead of me leaving, because I was hungry and I did want something to eat, so now I'm going to inconvenience myself because of your rudeness and have to go across town or over here where I came here because it's right, you know. So I said, you know what? No, I'm not going to do that, because that's going to kill more time that I don't have to kill. So I said, no, I'm gonna order my sandwich. So finally, another lady comes up and she sees what's going on. So she's extremely kind and the efforts to make up for the other young lady's rudeness. So I began to explain to the lady. I said, look, lady, I said, ma'am, guess what? I said, I'm having a bad day today, but I'm not going to let my bad day ruin your day. and someone needs to let her know that. I said something along those lines that I said. The two gentlemen that were in front of me, I was explaining to the lady, all that, but inadvertently I had, stepped in front so she could hear me. But those two gentlemen were actually in line first before me, waiting to get served. They were there first. So as I'm talking to the lady, she takes my order, and I was like, "Oh no, they were here first." And they was like, "Nah, it's okay, bro, it's okay." And I said, "Ma'am, let me take care of theirs as well." So I said, "You see how this works? I'm having a bad day, but yet still I'm being intentional to be a blessing to someone else, because when we have a bad day, we don't have to make somebody else's day bad." And the guy was like, "Nah, you don't have to." I said, "Sir, please, would you allow me to buy y'all's lunch, please?" And so he's, okay. So I bought their lunch. And so in the course of all of this, the other lady, she's peeping what's going on. She's hearing what's going on, And so she gets ready to come back around. And I said, "Man, what's your name?" I said, real nice, real sweet, real kind. And she told me her name. I said, and I forget what her name, Jill or whatever. It wasn't Jill, but let's just say Jill. I said, "Jill, I really hope your day gets better from here on out." And she says, "Thank you. It's just that." And she began to explain. And I said, I understand. I realized you had a little frustration you were dealing with. I said, but the way you said what you said, was the issue. And sometimes we can say things, and she agreed and she apologized. And I said, "See that? Now here we are, and we can help each other's days get better, And so it was, I'm glad it worked out the way that it worked out. Why did you say all that, Rachel? I said all that to say this. Sometimes we experience things and we go through things and we are confronted with things to test and try us. Sometimes we are confronted with things to teach us and show us. Now, sometimes we got to realize we just need a little bit of patience. But here's the deal for me, okay? Because I had just spoke on this maybe day before, a couple days before. Sometimes we're so quick to correct people, but we fail to teach people. What's more important, to correct or to teach? And I know some may say, well, it's one and the same, well, not necessarily so. Because sometimes we focus on the wrong that they did, and focusing on the wrong, we never show them the right way, or we never show them a better way. So we don't help them. Sometimes we hurt them even the more. But when you can teach, and even by example, then you help the individual and yourself. Does that make any sense? Talk to me, folks. Ladies and gentlemen, saints and ain'ts, everybody, including Lottie, Dottie, it's your boy Retro with you on this morning. Thank you for joining us for this morning's broadcast for a little morning inspiration. Now, this inspiration, ladies and gentlemen, it costs. Yes, sir. To get up every day and try to encourage somebody, you better believe that there's a cost associated with such behavior. Because the enemy comes to steal, to kill, and to destroy. 704-235-8408. How are you feeling on today? What is your heart feeling on today? We have to be very careful, ladies and gentlemen, because as I said earlier, sometimes what we are feeling in our hearts, and I guess I'll go ahead and say this, what we feel in our hearts and what's on our hearts are not necessarily the same thing either. And so, just kind of keep that in mind. But anyway, nevertheless, sometimes it's an indicator. So again, I woke up this morning, I was feeling a level of perplexity. And so now I must continue the rest of my day with my spiritual head, emotional head, and every other aspect on a swivel. In other words, be vigilant. The Bible says it this way: be sober, be vigilant, because your adversary, the devil, walketh about as a roaring lion, seeking whom he may devour. Do you not understand that he is looking to devour you? He wants to devour you. But the only way he can do so is if you allow him. Don't allow him, folks. Stay sober. And you say, well, I ain't had me a drink and I don't know how long, Pastor Retro. I ain't talking about no E&J or no Alizé or no, Hennessy or whatever else they say. I ain't talking about that kind of soberness. Lay off of that too now. Lay off of that too. But what I'm talking about, ladies and gentlemen, is I'm talking about not becoming intoxicated. And when you talk about intoxication, your motor skills have been affected, diminished in a sense. You're inebriated. You're under the influence. The only influence we need to be under is the influence of God. There's good and there's evil. Ain't no in between. There's good and then there's evil. And no man can serve two masters. So we've got to make a choice. And so whatever we choose is what will influence us. And you've got to be sober. Yeah, you got to be sober and you've got to be vigilant. Some folk, they used to have a saying back in the day, a true story, an OG broke this down to me many years ago. And I'm not going to say what he said word for word, but what he said in so many words was, you can't get high on your own supply. I had a life before this, so I ain't ashamed, and so, you're going to mess up your money. You're going to mess up a lot of stuff. And so some folks get high on their own supply. Because they sang so well, they think they better than other folks. Because they preach so good, they think they better than everybody. Because they got a bigger church, or they better than somebody, or because they come from a certain family background or whatever. You high on your own supply, and you are no longer thinking soberly. The Bible says, if a man think he stands, take heed lest he fall. Do you not know that every one of us is subject to fail? Yeah, and none of us are exempt from the possibilities of failure. And the moment you get up here and act like you can't fail, like you a shoo-in, like you're a sure shot, is the moment you begin to fail. I'm just saying. I don't know who I'm talking to, but I hope you're listening. Humility is so important, especially in this day and age that we find ourselves living in on today. Are you with me, church? Again, we want to say what's up to everybody, including Lottie, Dottie. Ooh. And thank you for joining us on today. Here on the Retro Philosophy Show. We got quite a few things we'd like to share with you. Again, this telephone is scrolling at the telephone number. At least it's scrolling at the bottom of the screen should you decide to call in and chit chat with us on today. We got a few interviews that we're trying to get lined up for you guys. I think you guys will enjoy it. Some of you guys try to find the tea out of it, but some of you guys will also find the purpose and the power and the passion and all that stuff out of it. You got to realize in life, folks, people will always, and when I say always, I mean always, they will always try to find something negative. But enough of that. We're not going to pay no more attention to nut name negativity for the rest of the show. Desi, yo, wagwan, my man. Yo, I haven't seen you in a minute. Yo, ladies and gentlemen, saints and ace, everybody, including Lottie, Dottie. Big up my big friend. Yes, sir. From way back when, from the streets of the field. God almighty. Hey, don't let out none of my secrets now. This guy right here, he know a few things from my past. Yo, I need to get you on the show, man. I'm planning on doing a show and just bringing up a bunch of folk from back in the day, man, from when we used to, do our thing and stuff like that. Just from way back when, man, because sometimes people get to a certain place in their life and they're so afraid of where they came from. But where I came from made me who I am today. So it's still a part of me. And so he says, pray for me. Father, we thank you for my friend Desi on today. We ask God that you would undertake from you see and you know the situation, circumstances, and you know everything that's going on around it. We ask God that you would just give him allow him to experience the peace of God on today. Let him know, Lord God, that the prayers have been lifted up on his behalf and you have heard those prayers. And I pray, Lord God, that you would make rough places smooth, crooked places straight. I pray that you would tear down the hand of the enemy that would try to devour him and attack him, and let him know that you love him with an everlasting love and that you still have a purpose for his life and your hand is still on him and you are calling him and you are drawing him, not with condemnation, but with cords of love. Father, we thank you and we give you all of the praise, the glory, and the honor in Jesus' name. Somebody say amen.
Known caller.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Desi, man, it's real good to see you, bro. It really has been good to see you on the line, brother. Next time I come to the field, I'm going to look for you and I'm going to find you. Yeah, we're going to break bread. Man, I think we go, look, what, Commerce or is it Duggan? I know we go back to Commerce at least. So saints and ain'ts, everybody, including Lottie, Dottie, we here on this morning, making it do what it do. You are most welcome, bro. You are most welcome. Jesus told Peter, when thou art converted, strengthen thy brethren. Oh, Connecticut now. Okay. Still right there. But he said, when thou art converted, strengthen thy brethren. And I'm so glad that the Lord has not allowed me to cultivate nor establish the deep sanctified preacher voice and walk around here with my chest all puffed out with a big old cross. Well, I do got a big old cross on today. Oh boy, you can't make this stuff up. And have become, just this, bruh. All I've done was just evolved. I've not changed. I'm still the same old. Some folks used to call me Dread back in the day. Some folks, I'm just the same old Sheldon. And I'm so great. There's a peace in that for me. There was a time in my life, in my early Christian walk, where I was enamored with the church. Church. I don't know if I want to say church crowd. That's not what I want to say. With the church culture, and I had some things mixed up, but the Lord brought me through that and brought me away from that. He granted me illumination, insight, and understanding, and begin to balance me out. And you guys have heard me talk about the late Reverend James Sowell Jr. That was who God used to begin the correct transformation in my life at a very young age as a young Christian, because I was marking off all the check boxes to becoming the great Christian that God has called me to be. And I looked something like Peter and John on their way to the temple at the hour of prayer, stepping over the crippled, stepping over the blind, stepping over those who needed what they had. But they were stepping over them to get to the church, to hang out with the church folk, forgetting that we go to church to worship God and we leave to serve. And I tell my folks all the time at Upper Praise Ministries, look here, man, if you're on your way to church and a ministry opportunity presents itself, be late for church, but be on time for that ministry opportunity. Minister to that person, whoever it is, however long you got to do. Don't step over a ministry opportunity to be on time for church. Y'all might not understand this type of philosophy, but it is what it is. Peter and John, they were late for church that day, but it changed their ministry forever. They had saw that guy so many times out there begging for alms. It's funny how people need you to be the child of God because I just said earlier, Jesus told Peter, when you are converted, strengthen your brethren, right? So we have an obligation to our brothers. But so many folk get saved and get into church and get dignified and forget that they was a crackhead and sold they tail on top of it. Did a lot of things. But now now you quoting scriptures. You don't forget where you came from. Anyway, so this particular day, something happened. They finally saw the ministry opportunity. It says, silver and gold have I none, but such as I have give I unto thee. In the name of Jesus Christ, rise and walk. And that man rose up and he walked for the first time. Miracle right then and there. Yeah. And so we got too many church folk and not enough folk walking in ministry. God didn't call you to church. He called you to the ministry. We are called to the ministry. We are not called to church. And some folk out there worshiping their pastor more than they worship God. I'm just saying, y'all shouldn't have got me. I'm there now, so we might as well walk. Already got mud on our shoes. Might as well walk through it. So the late Reverend James Sowell Jr. says to me, a young Christian who is checking off all the boxes to becoming, the perfect Christian and so on and so forth. And I'll never forget it. He says to me one day, he says, young man, forget what you think you know and learn what you don't. Ooh, bro. You know how much you don't know about your neighbor. You don't like him for what you know, but look how much you don't know about your neighbor. If you were to take the time to stop acting so sanctimonious and just be real, you would get to know your neighbor would get to know you, and there could be some serious ministry to take place right there. But nah, we too good because they smell like reefer. We too good because they smell like alcohol. The only reason why you offended because if you smell it for a second longer, you're gonna go get some. So let's just tell the truth. You ain't as saved as you think you is. A lot of I'ma stop. But you got to be careful because a lot of people will barricade themselves from sin. And hey, look here, man, abstain from it and do what you got to, but here's one of the dangers and locking yourself up in a circle. That danger is one day that circle's not going to be there and that sin is going to present itself. Have you developed the skill, the power, the wherewithal? Or let me just say it this way. Have you really been delivered from it? Or have you just been protected from it? Think about it. Remember, especially I said, think about it. That was a dope beat back in the day. But think about it. Think about it. So many people act like they better than folk. But the only reason why they haven't sinned is because they haven't had opportunity to sin. It's not that they've been delivered. They just haven't had the opportunity. Man, look here. I remember when I first got saved, and some of my family members, they were still out there in them streets and stuff. And I remember we would go by there sometimes Sunday after church, and they'd be down in the basement, getting, doing their thing and stuff. But I would go down there. And because, see, a lot of times when God does something for you, he wants to cause strife between you and the ones that God wants to use you to be a witness to. And so you've got to walk in wisdom. He that winneth souls must be wise. And so we, from the very beginning, by God's grace and direction, did everything we could to walk in strategy. Okay. And so them smoking a little weed didn't offend me. I made sure that we kept going by there fellowshipping, because if we have light and if we are the light and we never go to the dark places, how are they going to receive light? And so we were strategic and we were intentional, and we showed love and we showed grace. My mama used to always tell me, you get more bees with honey than you do vinegar. And some of y'all running around here talking about Jesus, but you smell and taste like vinegar. Don't nobody want that. People don't care what you know until they know that you care. I don't know who I'm talking to, but I hope you're listening. And so, man, I tell you, man, and God started doing it. See, one planted, one watered, but God gives the increase. And he started bringing them in, and they started getting saved one after the other, one after the other, one after the other. You can't be out here acting like you're better than folk. The Lord delivered me. He delivered me. See, I don't they say the things I used to do, I don't do no more. It's not because I don't have opportunity. It's not because I don't have, access. I mean, you can still have access to stuff, but just choose not to use it. When you've been delivered, you've been just that. You've been delivered. So we've got to do a little bit better. You look at church folk most of the time. They got church folk circles. And they got their building fund, they got their pastor's aid, they got their dime march and this, that, and the other, and collecting all this money and stuff, and I get it. There's work to be done around the house of God and so on and so forth. But they create these atmospheres that are just for church folk, when the church is actually supposed to be for the sinner. It's just like the hospital. The hospital was built for the sick. So when they get sick, they come to the hospital. But I saw a clip, and I almost was going to play it this morning. And now I wish I had downloaded it, because there was a gentleman, and he was preaching church full of folk, and this guy comes up with Bible in hand. He says, what are you coming up here to take over the service? And he says, no, I want prayer or something like that. And he told him to put the man out. I don't know if the man had a history, because sometimes people can be disruptive. But my point is, they create churches and church atmospheres that are for church people. And when someone who is unlearned of your culture or your so-called protocols, we want to act like they got a demon on them. Nah, they just don't know the church lingo, and they don't know the church rules. They just know that they're starving and they need help. And you got the big cross on your building and saying that God moves. Right on your sign says Church of God's Deliverance, but everybody in there bound, and so let's see here. Tank says most times the atmosphere changes when you arrive. You don't have to say anything. They will apologize themselves for things they feel are inappropriate in front of you. That is true. That is true. That is true. Now, let me be 100% with you, 100% honest with you. For me, the way it worked was, before it got to this place, Tank, there was the testing. And I never forget, they would, they be there. They know I done changed my life. They know I'm doing the church thing, and I'm serving the Lord. But they be quick to say, yo, you want a drink? Pass me a drink. Nah, bro, I'm good. I'm good. and it ain't no temptation in it. I'm good. And so, okay, yeah, we'll see. They give you that little, they watching you. They trying to see if this thing is real, because most folk understand church to be something that's not serious. I mean, when you look at it as a whole, because but when you remain consistent as it relates to your your standards. And they realize, whether they understand it or not, that you're serious about it, then after that comes the respect. Yeah. And so now when they, like you said, Tank, now you walk in the room and yes, the atmosphere changes. But the reason why the atmosphere changed, and I can speak for myself, was not because of what I know, who I am, or what I've done, but because of the love that I show and the love that they can receive from me. The fact that there is no condemning, the fact that there is no judgment. Sinful people do sinful things. So I'm saying, you want to judge somebody, judge the one who has made a vow unto the Lord. But yet still they wishy-washy, going back and forth. Now, you want to judge somebody, judge them, but sinful people do sinful things. If you are, and what I'm saying here now, because you have, when I say unbeliever, someone who has not dedicated their life to the Lord. I'm not saying that they don't believe in God. So when I say unbeliever, in terms of them giving their life, maybe I shouldn't. Well, anyway, it is what it is. You know what I'm saying. So I don't judge folk. You know, I'm saying, you know, you ain't saving. Oh, I wouldn't save. I'd be doing that and then some. Matter of fact, you behind the 8 ball, bro. Because when I was in your shoes, I was doing it on a whole nother level. Bada boom, bada bang. You know, yeah. So yes, sir. So the level of respect, and I look at here, man. You don't even have to believe in what I believe in, but the mere fact that you stand on business on what you believe, you're gonna get a level of respect from me. You know, I can't tell you the amount of times I've come in contact and had conversations, and low level debates. And the reason why I say low level debates is because I stay out of debates, because it doesn't profit much. You know, you got 2 grown men sitting there trying to prove each other wrong. We ain't getting nowhere. You know, if that's what you believe, that's what you believe. I'm going to share with you what I believe, and you know, you do with that what you want. You know, I'm going to respect you enough not to be disrespectful. I'm going to respect you enough to, you know, be civil. I mean, you know, he said, by this shall all men know that you are my disciples, because you have love one to another. I feel like I'm just up here beating my gums this morning, y'all. Hopefully I'm saying something that somebody can, you know, can rock with, can relate to, and can help you. We live in a day now where people don't respect themselves, but yet still you want somebody else to respect you. I tell people all the time, you teach people how to treat you. So if you want them to respect you, respect yourself first and foremost. I told y'all at the end of 25, all of December, I was telling y'all, 2026 is going to be the year of the fix. 2026, there's some things we ain't going to be doing. We ain't matching energy. No, sir. I respect me too much to match anybody's energy. Because half the time it's bad energy anyway, so why you want to match bad energy? Come on, bro. Come on, man. Make it make sense. All right. So we're going to keep going. If nobody but for my man Desi, we're going to keep going for a few more minutes anyway. So I need you to understand, ladies and gentlemen, that you have a story, okay? And there was a time when, let's see here. Clocking it. Okay. All right. Good. Katura, it says I'm clocking it. So, okay. So cool. I think that clocking it, I think that's some, I'm getting a little old and I'm trying to keep up on the lingo, but I think that's good. Clocking it. I think I'm doing good. Hey, listen here. We all have a story. Okay. And, I've been in the church over 30 years. Yeah, I got over 30 years walking with the Lord. Okay, true story. And I've seen a lot. Some of it I wish I can unsee. Some of it I wish I can unknow. The trickery and the foolery and the what else can I use here? The deception and the oh my goodness. The manipulation. Oh my goodness. I've seen a lot. And I've seen way too often where they will try to silence you and victimize you. Excuse me, not victimize you. They will demonize you as a, for telling your story. But guess what? That story ought to be told. When I was coming up, right, Desi, you can attest to this. We was out there on Burr Street, Cambridge, Mass Ave, Westmoreland and State Street and Eastern Ave and all over the place, Boston Road. We out there doing our thing back then. We didn't have all the cameras that they have nowadays. The cell phones we had didn't take pictures back then. We had them big box phones and we had, it was doing good if we had that. We had them pages, beepers and stuff like that. But nowadays, they pulling out their camera and they're recording. Okay, so what's my point? My point is there is video evidence nowadays, and it is that same threat that keeps a lot of people from doing certain things. A lot of stuff we did, we got away with because nobody's seen it. So they say if a bear poops in the woods and nobody ever sees it, did he poop at all? So when you have people, and even this, everybody's got a podcast nowadays. Shout out to all the podcasters. And you can slip if you want to. They're gonna talk about it. They're gonna get the sound bite. They're gonna take the clip, and they're gonna talk about it and you. And so it has caused people to be on their best behavior as best they can, because they know if they slip, they're gonna slide. Come on, somebody. So I believe it is important for your story to be told. It helps keep folks honest. Ain't nobody gonna mess with Miss Pat if they know Miss Pat gonna put them on blast. And I don't want that smoke. And so telling the story is indeed important. Okay, but they will try to silence you. A blessed word, by their fruit will know them. Where to be ambassadors, the refiner, Yeshua, must see his reflection. Come on, somebody. When you look in the mirror, you ought to see the image of God, because we are created in his image and in his likeness. So who do you look like? Yeah, who do you look like? Thank you, Miss Pat. God bless you for those kind words. Yeah, video evidence. Come on now, Desi. You already know, right? Shoot, somebody. Matter of fact, Ricky was talking with him the other day, and he was like, "Yo, man, Sheldon, you got picture, bruh. Back in them days, I was staying away from the camera intentionally, so I don't even have, I have very few pictures of myself back when we was out there, doing what we was doing." It just was what it was, but yeah, it's difference now. It's a difference now. A video is everywhere. You leave your house, and you leave your house, your ring picking you up, and your neighbor's ring picking you up, and the street light cameras picking you up, and of course, I believe it's all leading up to the Antichrist and all that stuff. Miss Pat, you're absolutely right. Bada boom, bada bang. Just do right. See, if you do right, you ain't got to worry. And that's where I'm at right now. I'm like, I don't care about your camera. Shoot. I told you about that little heifer the other day. Tried to run me off the road in her Nissan Altima. I'm in a 3.5-ton truck, and she trying to run me off the road. Like, what is wrong with you, girl? And she pulled out her camera and started recording. I pulled out mine and started recording. I ain't afraid of your camera, girl. You the one in the wrong. So anyway, I'm sorry, I digress. Miss Pat, you are absolutely right. If you just do right, you ain't got to worry about a thing. You ain't got to worry about a thing. Let me say this, and I'm gonna get out of y'all's way. I think this might help maybe 2 or 3, it might even help 4 people.
I don't mean to brag, but my videos are enjoyed by well over 4 people worldwide.
Yo, if you one of the 4, make some noise in the comment section. 1, 2, 3, 4. If you got the right 4, you don't need no more. Is that you? Are you one of the 4? If you are one of the 4, make some noise in the comment section real quick. All right. So some of us, we have lost at many of things. Okay. And what happens is the enemy, he will try and make you feel as though you are a loser. But let me tell you this, folks. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Oh, it is. Oh, it is a retro philosophy. Okay, I'm sorry, y'all. I'm sorry. So you got to realize, ladies and gentlemen, saints and ain'ts, everybody included, Lottie, Dottie, that you. Okay, I got one of my 4 in the building. I come on. I got any more 4s in there? Just put 4 in the comment section if you one of the 4. I am not a failure. You are not a failure. I did a whole series on this. Oh boy, yeah, I effed up was the series. I effed up, and of course it's not what you think. Okay, it's not what you think. But see, the enemy will try to present you with so-called failures, but if you learn from it, it's no longer a mistake. It's a learning experience, and my faith goes to it. So I faithed up. Yeah. You see, whenever I fail at something, number one, you got to acknowledge, okay, I messed up. I messed up. Okay. And that's the problem that many of us have. We are not acknowledging the fact that we messed up. Just because you messed up doesn't mean you're a messed up individual. You know, some of the mistakes we made was because we didn't know any better. Some of the mistakes we made was because we were tricked. Some of the mistakes we made was because we were, we were pushed into a situation or something, and so acknowledge you're wrong. First and foremost, dag, God, I messed up. Don't go to blaming. Well, it was, Adam said, the woman thou gavest me, No. Lord, I dropped the ball. I messed up. Okay, I messed up. Okay, and now that you acknowledge your part, now what you need to do is say, now, God, what can I learn from this? What can I get out of this? Because there's always something to be gotten out of everything you see. God is not a God that just brings situations about just to do so. Nah, if he brought you to it, he'll bring you through it. So then you have to say, okay, God, how do I learn from this? Now, let's just say I literally went and did something just wrong, or just messed up, I failed. Okay, case in point. What year was it? I don't know. I was 17 years old, so that must have been 1990. It was 1992. Yeah, I think it was 1992, 1993. I opened up my first official business out in Indian Orchard called Hotspot Variety. Yeah. What was it? 1179 Worcester Street in Indian Orchard, right? And I named it Hotspot Variety because that little section was a little hot part of Indian Orchard. And so, I was 17 years old, get off me. I'm saying it's Hotspot Variety. It sounded good at the time. Okay. Goodness gracious. And so here we are, we're doing the thing, man, and you couldn't tell me nothing. I'm still my last year of high school. I got my own business, and I was doing the thing. Well, a lot of things transpired during that time. Most important thing was God placed his hand on me, began to draw me. I didn't see it for what it was then at that time. But I do know that I didn't make all of the right choices. Okay. I had told God that I was going to do this to leave other means of income alone. That's what I told myself, and that's what I told the Lord. And so boom, now here I am. I got the little store and I'm doing my thing, and but no, I couldn't leave well enough alone, so I'm still trying to dibble dabble, do this and do that. And God said, okay, I'm gonna have to get your attention another way. And so long story short, after running the store for, I don't know, maybe a year or two, I ended up struggling so much so till I sold the business. And I felt like one of the biggest failures. Oh my God, I felt like one of the biggest failures. I wouldn't even go back down the street. True story, and I began to slip off into depression. Because at 17 years old, I was the man. I had my own business. I got pocket full of money. I got the girls, I got this, I got that, and then all of a sudden I fail as a businessman. Now that store took off and was doing so good. And then all of a sudden it was like nothing that I did different. It just, things came to an abrupt stop. What I learned was, if you don't acknowledge him in all of your ways, he's not going to direct your path. And what profit a man to gain the whole world and lose his soul? I never forget, I've shared this before here on the Retro Philosophy Show. That night I was there at the store. Keisha, good morning. How you doing? Thank you for pressing play. And it was good chatting with you this past weekend too. So I'm there, I'm at the store, and I'm counting on my register, and I never forget it. I said, man, this ain't nothing but God. I said it out loud because I kept counting. I was like, yeah, yes, sir. This is the Lord right here. I ain't lying to you, man. If I'm lying, I'm flying, and I'm still sitting in my chair. And so, but it is impossible to acknowledge God and things not change. When I tell you God had his hand on my life, I can go into so many stories. But I'm gonna say this. I lost the business. Thank God he allowed me to sell it, so I still got a little something out of it, right? And don't get it twisted. You can sell a vision. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yeah. Now here for me, you know, it was going downhill, but somebody else saw the value of it. He saw the vision that I laid out. He saw the blueprint and saw the value in it. And so he paid me for it. Yes, sir. And I took over the store. Of course, he was a little bit older. He had better resources, and he had a team too. And it's Puerto Rican brother. You know, he had a car lot on the other block, and so he bought me out. And boom, he went in there, man. And before you know it, he got all this Spanish food up in there and stuff, and had it packed out, and was doing the doggone thing, man. Uncle Charlie, an old dude named Uncle Charlie, he had working up in there, man. He only had like 2 fingers on one hand, but he was a real cool guy, man. And so I learned a lot from it. So here's it took me a while to understand this, right? And I never forget one day I was there, and I was I'm trying to get my timeline right, because when I sold the store, I ended up going to school for cosmetology, and then later on I ended up opening up Miracles Hair Salon. But in the process, I ended up getting saved. I got into church, right? And that's when all this stuff began to make sense. God, it's almost like God took me. Anybody ever seen the Christmas Story? When the guy, I think it was not the Christmas Story. A Good Life or something like that, when the guy, it's like the angel takes him and gives him a tour of his life and everything. It's like that's what God did with me. And I never forget, he took me back to the store and began to show me some of my mistakes. He began to show me where his hand was the heaviest and how I missed this blessing. It wasn't to condemn me. It was to let me know that if I learn from this, I can faith up. Come on now. If I learn from this, see, and so when you learn from a mistake, it's no longer a mistake. It becomes a learning experience, and learning experiences are priceless. There's no, you can't even properly put a value on learning experiences, especially if you work them the right way. And so after Hotspot closed down, I got my little life together and I gave it to the Lord. Yeah. And so, and again, it wasn't because the store closed that I went running to God. It don't matter what makes you run to God, as long as you run to him. But it was a series of events. God was just dealing with me and had been dealing with me for a while, and I had been running for a long time. But the one and only Mr. Bob and Esther Marley would always tell us, you're running and you're running and you're running away, but you can't run away from yourself. So I had to stop running. Yeah. I couldn't run anymore. There you go. Desi preaching with me this morning. Come on now, preacher. He said it didn't happen to you. It happened for you. True story, real talk. I couldn't see that then, bro. I couldn't see that then. I almost slipped into depression because all I could hear was, you know, what folk would say. He used to have a store. What he doing now? But I realized, yes, Desi, it didn't happen to me. It happened for me. And so when it came, so now here I am. I'm in school, LeBaron's Hair Academy down on State Street there, and I'm doing some hair, learning, to get my license. Because here's one thing: when I got ready to open the store, my dad he was hot. Boy, you ain't even finished school, and you up here, you ought to finish school, get you a degree, and then and he was right in many regards, But anyway. I said, well, Pop, if it don't work, I'll turn it into a barbershop, because I had been cutting hair ever since I was 12 years old. So, I was like, well, that'll be plan B. I wasn't planning on invoking that plan because I was too busy banking on plan A, But when it came down to it, I never forget, I was sitting down, I said, what am I going to do now? And then that one day I said, you know what? Carlene, Carlene does it. She had already told me, because she was going to school down there. And she was encouraging me to go down there and to enroll. And so I did. Got my license, got out of school, and I went to work with Leon down at Top Ranking for a little minute down there. And then I went over to Polite's Barbershop. And it was good. It was good. And while I was there, man, the Lord opened up a door, and next thing you know, Miracles Hair Salon was opened, and it was a wrap from there. But there was a lot of things that I learned from Hotspot Variety that I was able to carry over into this new business venture. And it gave me a more made up mind to listen to the voice of God, to seek the mind of God, and to simply do what was right. And I don't know how we got on that story. I feel like I've told it so many daggone times. But it is what it is. One thing I bet you, every time you hear it, it's the same. Yeah, because okay. Some folk, every time they tell a story, it grows and grows and grows. So anyway, ladies and gentlemen, saints and ain'ts, everybody, including Lottie Dottie, we fail at some things, but if you get up, come on now. See, that's how champions are made. See, champions are not afraid of failure. Champions focus on getting up. Champions focus on moving forward. And I don't need your title to move forward. I don't need your title to do what I've got to do. As a matter of fact, sometimes them titles will mess around and mess you up. Real talk. A champion, a person who has defeated or surpassed all rivals in competition. Listen to me. Some people win, but they still haven't defeated or surpassed their rivals. And then there are some people who lose, but have defeated and surpassed their rivals. Think about that. Yeah. Think about that. Let that sink in. Some people came in first place, but they're still losers. Yeah, they're okay. Let me Hirsch. Let's look at the second part of champion, the other definition or the other explanation of what a champion is. Okay, a champion, a person who fights or argues for a cause or on behalf of someone else. Some people come in first place, but they're so selfish. It's all about them. And if that's what you call winning, then I'd rather be a loser. Because as I said earlier, he said, when you are converted, strengthen your brethren. Show me your company, I tell you who you are. No, show me your company. If they not uplifting you, they're trapping you. That's real talk right there. And so we've got to be very careful of the company that we keep. And as a kid, that's one thing my mama used to always tell me, she said, you got to watch who you hang out with, And sure enough, the first trouble I got into, it was some serious trouble too. And it wasn't what I did. It's just that I happened to be at the wrong place at the wrong time with the wrong people. I didn't do anything, but again, your company that you keep. Sometimes you are indeed guilty by association. And it was dicey. It was indeed. But guess what? I learned. It was a hard way, but I learned. So sometimes you got to shorten your circle. Because all it takes is one. And it could definitely derail everything. Yo, ladies and gentlemen, saints and ain'ts, everybody, including Lottie Dottie. I'm done. I'm going to get out your way. But I need you to understand that you might not win at everything, but that doesn't mean you are not a champion. So don't be afraid to tell your story. I don't care who doesn't believe it. I don't care who don't like it. I don't care who's offended. It ain't their story. It's yours. Tell it. Now let me side note now, this ain't for you liars. Because some of y'all some bona fide liars. You say, how you know you're lying? How you know he lying? His lips is moving. There's some people out there that, they just lie for no reason. Just lie for no good reason. We ain't talking about them stories. Old folks say they just telling stories. We ain't talking about that. Y'all, all liars, sit down somewhere. Y'all go sit down somewhere. We talking about them folk who done been through some stuff and who have been, people have tried to silence them and people have tried to discredit them. And that's who I'm talking about. That's who I'm talking to. I'm talking to you. Yeah. Tell your story. Tell your story. All right. Inquiring minds want to know. Matter of fact, there's somebody who's going to be inspired by your story. There's somebody who's going through something very similar to what you're going through, and they need to hear your story. The Bible says in the book of Revelations, they were overcome by the blood of the Lamb and the words of their testimony. Your testimony is your story, how God brought you through, how God brought you over. God brought me through. and he brought me over. Ladies and gentlemen, saints and ain'ts, everybody, including Lottie Dottie, I want to share a few things with you before I get out of the way. I am grateful for those of you who joined us on this morning and are still watching with us. We will be having our Biker Sunday. This all goes down on Sunday, May 31st. Service starts at 11 a.m., 442 Westmore Avenue in Mooresville, North Carolina. Shout out to the team. You already see it, man. Kingdom Alignment Motorcycle Ministry. Biker Sunday. We do this every year, guys. We do it once a year. We have our Biker Sunday. We will have some other festivities going on. So if you're interested, just reach out to us. We're not necessarily putting it out there for, but we're gonna do our thing. We're gonna get together Friday. We're gonna break bread. So if you'd like to break bread with us, by all means, reach out and inquire, and we'll share with you the details of the information. And like I said, we'll get together. We'll break bread. We will be doing a ride that Saturday. We'll be going down to Gastonia to fellowship with Dinosaur Riders, where they do the cricket ride, the annual cricket ride, scholarship ride. We do that every year in support with them. I've been doing that since our inception as a organization, and by God's grace, we will continue to do so. Good people and good purpose. So if you're interested, make sure you let us know. I will be posting. I don't think I posted this yet, so you're seeing it first right here on the Retro Philosophy Show. So I will be posting it to my page later on this afternoon, so you guys can go ahead and tag your friends and send it to your friends or whatever. Tank, have a good day, man. Okay, get to that meeting, man. Take care of business, man. We'll talk to you soon, man. Again, thank you for pressing play. And ladies and gentlemen, make sure you go over there and check out his page as well. He's definitely putting up some good content. He's out there on that wing, doing his thing, coming in on a wing and a prayer, as I would say. And I've got a chance to ride alongside that blue wing, and that thing is nice. It is nice indeed. But go check out his YouTube channel, Nomadic Tank, over there on YouTube, and make sure you follow him on Facebook as well. Desi, bro, it was good for you. It was good to see you on today, man. Thank you for pressing play and sticking with us for the broadcast this morning. We used to try to go live every weekday at usually about like 9 o'clock ish, something like that. At one point, we were really trying to stick to a schedule, but now we may get back to a firm schedule. Who knows? We just doing our thing. All right. I'm out of here, man. God bless you. Heaven smile on you. How are we going to end it today, guys? Let's see here. We're going to end it like this, because I caught up with my man this past weekend, and we're going to have him on the show here soon. So make sure you guys stay tuned for the one and only Mr. Big Sal in the building.
Yo, what's up, folks? This is my man, Big Sal, man. You already know what it is, man. FHO, he's got the towing. He's got so much going on, man. We can't even keep up with you, man.
Listen, man, all of it, everything it has to do with the love of motorcycles.
Mm-hmm.
I don't do nothing on purpose,
okay,
but I do everything with a purpose.
Man, you just dropped a heavy one right there.
Hey,
I'm going to have to digest that.
I do it for the people like you and for everybody else that have dreams and aspirations.
Yeah.
Let me tell you something. The hardest thing about following your dream is actually getting your ass up and following it.
Getting up and following.
That's it. That's the hardest thing.
I call him Mr. Blueprint because he laid the blueprint for motorcycle vlogging, and a lot of us podcasters that are doing our thing now, especially on the urban set, he's the blueprint, man. So I believe in giving credit to whom credit is due, and so I stole a lot from you in terms of the way you.
But you can't steal nothing that I give you.
Well, that's true too.
I mean, and one thing about me and you both, we don't mind sharing.
Right.
You feel what I'm saying?
Right.
Whatever we learn back and forth, and I'm gonna tell y'all something. You really need to appreciate the time and the effort that's put into these shows and these podcasts. Right. Even this right here.
Yeah.
To have a camera stand set up and all. You guys need to start appreciating that, because again, we have it. So when we share it with you, it's just us letting you do it easy. Because let me tell you something.
Yeah.
I didn't have a retro or a big sale to teach me how to motorcycle.
Right.
I learned the hard way.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And that makes a big difference. When you already got somebody that's doing it and showing you, it makes it a lot easier.
One thing, and
you keep running away from your assignment like you got options. You ain't even got enough gas money to run away from God. Just stop and do what he told you to do. Like, I know you're tired. You wouldn't be if you listen. Obedience is free.
Say, man, you know what it is, man. Special guest in the building. Much love and respect to my man Retro stopping through, y'all. Y'all know what to do.
Big Cell. You still keeping it 100.
Retro, what's up, man? It's your guy Lavish coming in from the Motor City, Detroit, man. Keep doing your thing, man. Keep up the good work. I'm watching the channel. I'm watching it grow. Everybody out there, man, if you listening, man, show this brother some love. Go ahead and share this video. Go ahead and like, follow, and subscribe to his channel.
You already know what it is. It's your homegirl, Lottie, Dottie. I'm in the building hanging out with Retro, and he ain't never lying.
Retro song. Ladies and gentlemen, saints and ain'ts. Everybody, including Lottie, Dottie, it's your boy. Retro. Hashtag press play, it's the Retro Philosophy Show. Let's go. Ladies and gentlemen, saints and ain'ts. Everybody, including Lottie, Dottie, it's your boy. Retro. Hashtag press play, it's the Retro Philosophy Show. Let's go.